Hello everyone. I was actually getting a lot of requests in YouTube comments as well as on my LinkedIn messages that please create a video on the roadmap for becoming cloud engineer in 2026 or at least for next 1 year. So if someone come to me today and ask me, hey Shital, I want to become a cloud engineer in next 1 year, but I have absolutely no idea where to start with and what are the things I need to learn, then I think this is the exact roadmap I would give them. And this roadmap is not something which was created before the AI era started, or it is not something which is actually expecting you to memorize hundreds of cloud services. Because on YouTube, if you try to search for the roadmap to become a cloud engineer, you will land up with thousands of videos. But most of them were created before the AI was actually introduced. And AI had changed the way of how the cloud engineer works. And today, companies are not looking for someone who actually just knows about cloud services, but they are looking for engineers who actually understand how the application was built, how it can be secure, how it can be deployed, and how the workflows can be automated. So, if you are a student or a fresher or someone who's trying to switch your career into the cloud, and you're looking for the guidance that how should you start your journey, then I think in today's video we are going to cover that what you need to learn, in what order you need to learn, and most importantly why you should learn it. So let's get started. Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. My name is Sheetal and I'm a cloud architect at Google, and on this channel I share practical insights on cloud, AI and DevOps along with the career growth. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, so please do subscribe and please like the video at the end if you think it was helpful. But before we start, I actually wanted to clear that this roadmap is not going to be a certification roadmap, or this is not going to be something which will ask you to put hundreds of hours just to learn about some tutorials. We have created this as a engineering roadmap where you will get the understanding of all the skills which are required to become a cloud engineer, where you can build, you can deploy, you can secure, you can monitor, and you can troubleshoot the real world application. Because I think that is the most important part of being a cloud engineer, as every day we do this in our job. So we will not be looking at everything into one stage, because otherwise like it will get you overwhelmed with lot of information. So what we are going to do today is like we are going to divide this into some of the stages. So first stage is building your foundation, where we will understand that what are the things that you need to learn. Then the second stage is where you will learn about the cloud engineering. And the third stage, which is the most important right now, is becoming the future ready. So in this video, we are going to see these stages one by one so that you don't get overwhelmed with the information and you have a clear understanding and the roadmap of how to proceed one after another. Okay, so let's get started. Before we go stage by stage, let's understand the biggest mistake I have seen beginners make. Most people start by searching which cloud services I should learn first. Then they start memorizing the services. They do one course after another. They do one certification after another. But when they are asked to deploy the application, they don't know where to start with and how to do it. And that is because they learn the tools without understanding the concepts. Cloud is not about remembering the service names. It's about solving the engineering problems. So once you understand the concept, I think it becomes very easy to learn any of the cloud services or any of the cloud platforms. That does not then remain a problem. So let's build in the right way. First stage is building the foundation. And in this stage, we are going to learn about Linux, get familiar with terminals, understand or learn basic Linux commands like the processes, networking, the permissions, how the user management or user administration is done in Linux. And if you do this stage right, I think it makes everything else easier. So all of the system becomes very easy to understand and you can simply be able to debug the issues if there are any. Then once you are done with this, understand how the internet works, understand how the HTTP versus HTTPS protocol works, what happens when you type the website in your browser, how the requests travel from your laptop to the server, and how the response come back to your laptop. Once you are done with Linux, I would recommend you to learn about one of the version control system So you can go for Git or GitHub or Bitbucket. Even if you learn just one of them, it is, I think, enough. Okay, because you have to understand, if you are trying to code or if you are trying to automate, you need to have a place where you can actually put your codes. Git system will actually help you with that. Okay, so once you understand about Git, the next part I would recommend is learning about one of the programming language. I would recommend Python because Python is beginner friendly and it is widely used everywhere. You don't need to actually become a software engineer, but you should be able to actually write some small scripts, call the APIs, work on JSON, and you should be able to automate the repeated task. Once you are done with all of these, I'm going to share a small project on the screen, as well as I'll be sharing that in the description box as well. So once you complete this video, maybe you can try and go and do these projects on yourself, so that it will give you confidence that how things work and where are you lacking your skills. From the first stage, what you have to do, you have to set up a Linux machine, you have to install a web server on it, host a simple website. If you can do this, then you should be confident enough that you have already completed your foundation. Now it's finally time to learn about cloud. So this is stage 2 and it is the biggest one, but we are going to see that by building block by building block, so that you don't get overwhelmed. So in this stage, my advice would be, you just pick one of the cloud and just learn about it. You don't need to spend time learning all different multiple clouds at once, because every cloud platform give you the same building blocks. It's compute, storage, networking, IAM, then monitoring, databases. Every cloud will have the same building blocks, just that they can use the different naming convention, but at the end it will follow the same concept. Just that the most important part over here is, like, you should start focusing on why that cloud service is there and what is the function of each of them, and you should not just focus on remembering the name of the services. That is not going to help you out. So at this stage, I'll share the project or the task which you can do yourself to understand how this concept actually works in cloud. So what you need to do is, you need to create the VMs, you need to deploy the website on that VM in cloud, connect the database with that website, and try to expose that website on the internet. So you should be able to access that at least a public IP VM where the website is actually hosted. And if you can do this, then congratulations, you have successfully deployed your application on the cloud. By now, you have already understood how the cloud works and you have already hosted your first application on cloud. But now we need to move one step ahead, where we have to learn about the Docker, to learn about how the monolith applications are broken down into the microservices. So you think of a container as a standardized way of packing your application. It behaves the same way on cloud, on your machine, and on containers. Learn how to build the image, how to run the container, how to write the Docker file, understand how the volumes and the networking works in the Docker. And then the next part is containerizing the application you just built. Now you understood the Docker, you know how to build the image. But think of from that perspective, what if your application grows and you are getting a lot of production traffic? Maybe take an example of Flipkart. Okay. So let's consider that Flipkart was running on just one container, but now everyone is trying to use the Flipkart. So one container is not enough. They will need the auto scaling. So how will you scale your containers and how will you make the auto scaling to work? So here your application is growing. So you are definitely going to need the auto scaling, high availability, automatic rollout of the new versions, then self-healing, that is called as container orchestration. So here you need to learn about the pods, deployments, services, configurations, secrets, how the ingress works, how the auto scaling works. And don't worry if they sound unfamiliar right now, take them one at a time. The goal here is not memorizing, but it is actually understanding how the modern application actually works in the production. By now, you understand how the container works, how to auto scale your containers. But all of these you were doing manually. But the biggest mindset in cloud engineering is stop creating everything manually by clicking from the dashboards and start creating infrastructure by using the code. And that is what it is called as the infrastructure as a code. You might have heard about this concept, or at least the name of it. And the tool which is widely used for this is called as the Terraform. So our next assignment is try to understand how the Terraform works, try to create the small infrastructure part, try to create the network using Terraform, then the VMs, storage, and then the databases. So what this actually does is this makes your infrastructure repeatable, reliable, and easy to manage. So let's say like you have a huge infrastructure on your cloud, and now you have just created that infrastructure in your non-production environment. So in cloud, and when you are actually working on the real world applications or the customer environment, so basically you have multiple environments. So it starts with development or testing environment, then comes the UAT or staging environment, and finally it's the production environment. If the infrastructure is huge, so you cannot go and create everything manually in each and every environment, because there are high chances of making the mistakes. So what is being preferred in the cloud engineering and most of the organization is you try to code your infrastructure so that whatever you created in your development environment, the same will be created in your UAT or pre-production environment, and then same will be repeated to your production. So you don't need to create that manually. Your one code would work for all of the environments. If few of these terms are new to you, please drop a comment which one, so that it helps me understand where to exactly go deeper in the future videos. Okay. Next step is automating everything. So once you push your code, it should be automatically tested, it should build your application, it should deploy your infrastructure, and that's what is called as the continuous integration and continuous deployment. In this phase, you will have to understand how the pipeline works, how the automated testing works, how the deployment happens, and how the rollback mechanism actually works. The automation is one of the most important and valuable skill you need to build as a cloud engineer. By now, you have enabled yourself to deploy the application into the production. But most of the people think that the deployment is the finish line. Is it true? No, it's just a beginning. Once your application is live in production, how will you know if the application is healthy? How will you know if there are any failures? How will you find out the performance issues? That's called as observability. So you will have to understand the metrics, the traces, the logs, the alerts, the monitoring, and the dashboards. So all of these combined together will give you an understanding if your application is deployed into the production, how it's behaving. Is it healthy or it's unhealthy? If unhealthy, then where are the problems? Are you getting notified if there are any problems or if the APIs are down? So the great engineers does not just build the systems, but they understand that how that systems are behaving in productions. And now is the last piece of our stage 2, which is security. Security is not a separate job anymore. It is the part of everyone's responsibility now. So if you are deploying the application, if you are building something, it becomes very necessary that the security is implemented along. So you'll have to understand how the least privilege work, how the identity and access management is done, how the secrets are managed, how the encryption is handled, how the authentication and authorization work. So build these habits from day one, and it will stay with you with your whole career. Then comes our final stage, which is stage 3. And it is nothing but which is making us a future ready. This is a stage that separates out a good engineer from exceptional one, and this is what actually makes 2026 roadmap looks very different from 2021. In this stage, we are expected to learn how the AI is transforming the cloud engineering. We have to learn about how the large language model works, how AI APIs work, how you call MCPs, how the vector database works, what is the RAG, which is the retrieval augmented generation, what is the AI agents, what is generative AI, what is the agentic AI. So in this stage, you are not expected to become AI researcher, but you should be able to understand how AI actually works, how the AI applications are built, deployed, and integrated into the modern systems. After all of this, spend some time learning about the platform engineering and the site reliability engineering. Learn how organizations are building the platform which are helping developers to move faster while staying reliable and secure. And these are the stages which I think you will naturally grow in your career as and when you move forward. And since you have invested time, I think it's my job to share you what actually makes difference into your interview. So that's actually the projects which gives you the real world experience. So you try to build things on your own, try to host the website maybe in containers and then on cloud. And eventually, when you learn about Kubernetes, then try to host that same website or same application into Kubernetes. Try to secure that application, make sure that you have implemented all the security guardrails, be it on cloud, be it on containers, and be it on your Kubernetes. Then try to automate things, try to automate the deployment pipelines, try to automate the infrastructure as a code. Then once your application are deployed, try to monitor your dashboards, see the logs, how it is coming in your cloud environment, and if there is any error, try to debug that error on yourself. That's how you should plan upskilling yourself from stage 1 to stage 2. And even if like, actually I tried to make this video for the beginners, one who can start from learning from the Linux stage. But if you are someone who has already passed some of these stages, so you can actually look into the stage where you see that you need to upskill yourself. Then once you do that, you need to put everything, like whatever code you have written to automate this stuff, you have to push everything on your GitHub with the proper readme, so that if someone looks at your profile, they can easily understand that you have actually worked on these projects. Now I think the most interesting part, and most of you are looking for it, which is certification. And I get this question very often: shall I get certified, and what certification I should start with? But my answer is very clear, that certifications can definitely add the value, but it should not be just a tick mark in your bucket list that I have done this certification. What's most important here is like it should validate your skills. So whatever certifications you are doing, so you should actually get the hold of all the skills which are learned or which are taught in that certification, and you should be able to implement that in real world. So that's how you can prove that skills, and that's what actually matters. So I would give you one advice: build the hands-on experience first, and if then certification fits your goal, then go for it. But think of certification as a bonus and not the foundations. So you will have to build your foundation first, you have to learn all the skills and then go for certification. Now you may be interested in knowing that how long will it take. If you are consistent, then I think 1 or 2 hours every day should be enough, and then within few months you should be able to learn about the foundation, then the cloud technologies and AI. And with the continued practice and the projects, you will be ready for the entry level cloud engineering roles. The exact timeline may differ for everyone because of pace, the consistency, and the understanding of everyone. So you don't need to compare yourself with someone else. Stay consistent, keep building. If there is just one thing I want you to remember after the end of this video, which is this one: don't chase the technologies, understand the things. Don't memorize services, understand how system works. Don't just focus on certifications, try to build the projects and practice more. Technologies will keep evolving, new tools will come in, the older one will disappear, but the engineers with strong foundation will always be in demands. So invest in that foundation and your career will be growing no matter what comes in. So this is how our roadmap would look like. So you can see over the screen there are 3 different stages which we just talk about in this video. If you are a beginner, you'll have to start from stage 1, then stage 2, and then followed by stage 3. If you found this roadmap helpful, I would love to know where are you starting your journey from. Are you a student, a fresher, or someone who is looking to switch into the cloud? Leave a comment below. I read as many as I can and I try to reply each of them. And if you think that this video helps enough people, I can try putting the complete roadmap, exactly what to study each week, which free resources to use, projects you can build along to learn about these things, to get the practical implementation, understanding, and the experience. If you don't want to miss that, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.